In October of 2003, Canton Hollow condominium owner Janice Lombard called Basement Systems about her crawl space. Jeff Nelson from Basement Systems responded and found that the Lombard's crawl space was in very bad shape from many years of being damp. There are 4 buildings and 36 units in the complex. The crawl spaces are connected with passageways, so Basement Systems recommended that all the unit owners be involved. Then Janice informed Basement Systems that all unit owners were involved. They had been trying to fix the problem for over 20 years. And with everything they did, the problem only got worse. The crawl spaces had dirt floors which let moisture in, and they leaked with rains. And many homeowners had mold upstairs at one time or another. About 20 years ago, they began installing sump pumps, and they laid plastic sheeting down over the dirt floors in some units. Still, the moisture problem persisted. Some contractors and other advisors told them to add vents. They spent a lot of money adding vents to let outside air in, which was supposed to dry the crawl spaces. But the problem kept getting worse.
So we added more vents to the buildings, and of course, the problem did not get any better until we finally realized that venting is not going to be the solution.
They even made large vents out of some access doors. And still, the moisture was very high under their homes. And this venting strategy brought other problems. The floors were very cold in the winter, so they hired a contractor to add more insulation in the floor. Over time, the insulation got so heavy with moisture it fell onto the dirt floors. And water pipes in the crawl space froze, so they had to be wrapped with heat tape. The more advice they got, the more different opinions they got. Then the floors above the crawl spaces began to rot and get moldy. The rot became so bad that many of the floors upstairs got soft and gave away. The floor joists were so rotted from the humidity that they could break pieces off with their hand, and some were nearly completely rotted away. The entire floor system had to be reinforced with new treated lumber at great expense, and more insulation was added. This was more than a problem. It was a 36-unit nightmare that just wouldn't go away. The association spent yet more money on an interior drain, and then more money on exterior drains. Some unit owners couldn't sell their homes because of the condition of the crawl spaces. In 2003, Janice installed new hardwood floors upstairs in her home. Within 6 months, the flooring was all warped. That's when she called Basement Systems. This time, the advice was different and opposite of what they had been told before. Basement Systems recommended all the vents be closed tight, all the sump systems be upgraded, and installing a liner system called Clean Space in each unit. Finally, drying systems called SaniDry should be installed in each building. The company guaranteed the results, that the relative humidity would go down low enough where rot and mold would not happen in the future. The desperate homeowners checked out the company because they were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on the problem over the years and did not want to spend even more if it wasn't going to work. The situation was critical. They decided to move forward. And what were the results? As promised, the crawl space relative humidity dropped to under 50%. Each homeowner was elated and relieved that the ordeal, which began 20 years ago, was finally over. The crawl spaces look great, and the living space above them is more comfortable.
I received a call not too long ago from one of our board members who has been living here longer than I. He has been dealing with this situation much longer than I have. And he called me up on the phone that morning, and he could not believe the difference between what his basement looked like before Clean Space and what it looks like now. And I have crawled around under those buildings. I have cleaned it out. I have been under there numerous times. And when I walked down that ladder into his space, I could not believe the difference. It was just amazing.
And one thing the Canton Hollow residents don't realize just yet is they're going to save a lot of money on heating and air conditioning costs.
This is how Basement System Solutions worked for the Canton Hollow residents. The clean space lines all the crawl spaces and isolates the homes from the earth. This stops moisture from the ground. The super sump systems keep groundwater pumped out and are equipped with optional ultra sump battery backup pumps. All outside vents were sealed to keep out cold winter air and humid summer air. SaniDry air systems' high-efficiency dehumidifier units completely dry the crawl space air. Because of these innovative strategies, the long, expensive crawl space nightmare for Canton Hollow condominiums is over.